My 27M partner feels stressed over finances despite me covering rent and food while he earns triple. He claims, "You only maintain the status quo," yet believes he's supporting us. Now he wants out, questioning if he ever loved me. Am I wasting my time? So as the title indicates, my relationship is coming to an end, and my partner is being quite confusing about it. I am writing this partially to organize my thoughts, but also to seek advice on whether this situation is worth fighting for. I believe it is, but being a passionate person who dislikes leaving matters unresolved, I may not be thinking rationally. I hope this does not violate the no yes no questions rule. I simply struggle to articulate it differently. There will be a lengthy context provided here, so I apologize in advance. I just need perspective on this complicated situation. Summary of context. I earn significantly less than he does, yet I cover most of our essential expenses, while he still perceives himself as the primary provider. Summary of entire situation. My boyfriend wants to end our relationship, citing financial difficulties, but I suspect he is actually afraid of commitment, and I am unsure if I should continue trying. Context. We met 5 years ago on Tinder with the initial intention of being friends with benefits. About a year later, we officially began our relationship, although there was one prior attempt during that time when he needed time and space to determine if a serious commitment was what he truly wanted, a theme that has recurred. He moved in with me following a serious conflict with his parents. During the first year, he was the sole breadwinner while I studied full-time, he was studying part-time. After that year, we relocated to a better apartment, I started to work, and I began receiving financial assistance from my uncle for rent. I am one of the fortunate few whose family supports them without any conditions attached, or in this case, with conditions that align with my artistic aspirations. As a contemporary artist, I come from a family with a long tradition of artists. They take this very seriously, and so do I. My uncle is willing to support me as long as I pursue my artistic career, and they expect me to be successful. My partner is a programmer, and his family's values differ greatly. I cannot ascertain how much of his issues with me derive from his father's outlook on life versus his own beliefs, but I believe they are not entirely separable. He is primarily focused on financial gain, striving for a work-life balance that allows him to work as little as possible while earning as much as he can. Currently, he earns 3 times what I do, including aid from my family. Despite this, for the past 3 years, I have been the only one paying rent and covering most of our food expenses. He contributes to groceries and covers any luxuries, primarily takeout. I have chosen to view this arrangement as fair since I would have to pay rent regardless, and I prefer to help him save money because I am unable to save much myself. Financial issues. I share this background because finances have been a long-standing point of contention. He was deeply traumatized by that first year of being the only one working, which was extremely stressful for him given my irregular contributions. It seems he is unable to forgive me for that year, as he frequently brings it up, despite the fact that he has not contributed financially for over 3 years now. He also became convinced, to the extent that he convinced me that he was the sole provider, even though I was paying for rent and food for 2 years during that time. He believed this because he was stressed about his toxic job and afraid to leave it, while also overspending on takeout, which I did not track meticulously because I trusted him to manage the budget, given that he is good with numbers. He attributes blame to me, and I believe he still does, for remaining in that toxic company for too long, fearing that our survival depended on his income. I covered the entirety of our rent and half of the food costs. What complicates matters further is that during this time he was not saving for our survival in the event that he needed to quit his job without securing another position first. Instead, he was saving for a trip to Japan. We live in Europe where the cost of airfare alone exceeds our monthly rent. Once his job became unbearable, he quit, and I sustained us financially with his contributions totaling 1/8 of what I provided. I accepted this, although I felt resentful that he would be going to Japan without me while I was responsible for our nearly complete financial survival. Now he has found a new job that pays him nearly double what his previous job did, and he is contributing about 1/3 of our monthly expenses. There was one month where his contribution was almost equal to what I pay each month. I was busy defending my master's thesis and needed funds for prints of my photographs, so he covered those expenses, which I reimbursed the following month. The remaining funds were necessary because I work as a teacher, and September is typically a lean month for me. I still managed to cover the rent, however. I have lost count of how many times he has brought up September as proof that his contribution to our finances was equal to mine. The main arguments focus on that month and his overextending the budget for takeout. Takeout and other luxuries are the only things he has completely covered, and I trusted him to be reasonable with those expenses. I also expressed my willingness to reduce spending anytime, but he reassured me that it was acceptable. Ultimately, it became clear that he had not managed the budget logically, and I should have monitored his expenditures closely and limited my spending based on a budget he did not want to establish, stating, "I don't want to say no to you." How is one supposed to navigate this type of situation? I feel resentment towards this arrangement. Of course, I could have desired less, but each time he reassured me it was okay. I simply wanted to trust him and not make it my concern. Now, this is the more understandable part of our issues. The problems surrounding mental load and financial equity can be addressed incrementally. The remaining issues can be categorized into financial disagreements I do not support, pure emotional turmoil, financial disagreements I do not support. I have outlined our financial situation generally. He earns 3 times what I do, including family support, yet he contributes less to our household while saving for future housing or trips. I want to outline specific issues. This is not to vent, but to illustrate the type of challenges we are facing. He does not understand how much time and money he saves due to my paying our rent and managing the household. Whenever we discuss his savings, they are framed solely as his savings and not ours, despite being for our home or possibly gifts for me. I spent an entire evening calculating to demonstrate that the laptop he bought me for Christmas was actually funded through my contributions to his savings. He is unable to relinquish the idea that he is the one supporting us. At his most generous, he contributes 1/3 of our budget. He remains fixated on that first year. While I recognize it was difficult for him, I feel I have paid my dues. After all, I have been shouldering higher rent for 3 years. He insists that if I earned more money and worked additional hours, he would take on more household responsibilities. However, I do not think he realizes how much time is required for daily chores rather than on selected weekends. I have agreed to handle more responsibilities because I work fewer hours, but what sense does that argument make when I am already contributing more financially to our household? Why would my earning more and contributing equally change his responsibilities? He equates his expenditures on takeout to my payment of rent. There are 2 crucial points here. 1, even during the most extreme months, his expenses were still less than the rent, and 2, these responsibilities are not comparable. We can always eat instant noodles or eggs when I am too busy, tired, or unwell to cook, but we cannot forgo paying the water bill. Financial concerns that actually make me feel insecure. There are 2 statements he has made that leave me perplexed, and I cannot determine their validity anymore. I have my counterarguments, but I ask that you examine them and provide an honest assessment of whether I am being selfish, lazy, or unjust. The subreddit prohibits moral judgments, and that is not what I seek. Instead, I require a reality check, and hopefully I am still rooted in it. The statements are, I do not contribute to our future. In the current situation, I cannot save money and lack creditworthiness. He claims, and I quote, you only maintain the status quo, you do not try to make it better. I suppose this assertion holds some truth. We live in a place I can afford independently, and if we split rent equally, we could be in a larger or better located residence. I could earn more money, and I am working on overcoming my anxieties related to finding new employment. However, it appears he expects me to fully support us, while also enhancing our living conditions independently. It is my uncle who is supporting us, not me, and therefore I am not reliable. This statement stings the most. I cannot tell if it is true or if my self-esteem is low enough that it affects me deeply. He holds the belief that family only assists you if there are conditions attached and that you should always be entirely self-sufficient. If not, you risk being abandoned by your family and left unprepared. This viewpoint neglects the possibility that something could happen to him too, leaving him in a vulnerable position. I believe we should appreciate the support we have. I am still responsible for food costs, and I am pursuing my art, which is why my uncle supports me, not merely to enable my easy life but to maintain our family's artistic legacy. I do not think this consideration holds any weight in his eyes. What matters is that the funds are available and they originate from me, offering him peace of mind. I have consulted my friends and father for advice, and so far everyone is as perplexed as I am regarding the existence of a problem. Clearly, we are not facing actual financial difficulties. He earns an ample income such that within 2 years he would qualify for a mortgage down payment, while many young people today can only dream of owning their own home. In the meantime, I maintain our finances such that we can afford food, small trips, and takeout. He even traveled to Japan. I cannot see any logical reason for this behavior other than some deep-seated resentment that I receive assistance and work fewer hours, while he fulfills a traditional full-time job. Does this make sense? Am I missing something significant? Am I genuinely being unreasonable and unjust in requesting that he accept my support, specifically so that I do not have to work excessive hours? Emotional tumult. He appears to be searching for a way out of our relationship, leading to a series of inconsistencies, some of which extend beyond financial matters. For the past 4 years, he has repeatedly expressed his love for me, often stating that if we could avoid complications, he could even marry me, etc. He has performed numerous acts of affection. While he tends to exhibit a problematic side, he has also shown warmth and care. Many of his expressions of affection manifest in purchasing gifts, which demonstrates the minimal effort he is willing to exert, but last year he began to put in more effort. For my birthday, he created a mini Dungeons & Dragons campaign that concluded the storyline of several characters I have played at his table. He takes this hobby very seriously and does not give less than his best, not to mention he is an exceptional game master. It was a substantial effort. For last Christmas, he purchased a camera for me that I had been slowly saving for. It was not inexpensive, nor is it the kind of gift one typically gives to a friend. Yet, he claims he does not know if he loves me. He asserts he never truly knew but had previously chosen to ignore it. This realization coincided with the time he had the major conflict with his parents and subsequently moved in with me. He engages in actions that demonstrate love, then makes statements that convey indifference, if not hostility. He has provided many reasons for us to end our relationship, with the most logical revolving around our financial situation, which is why I provided such detailed context. However, I find that this rationale does not hold up completely, and that is why I need outside perspectives that are not influenced by friends or therapists to assess the situation critically. He talks about building a future and ensuring support for both of us, yet he completely overlooks the emotional dimensions of our relationship. He does not act like it, but he verbalizes the relationship as if it were a business venture requiring management. The fact that I provide comfort and love seems to create an obstacle. He has even expressed that because I adore his body, he lacks motivation to exercise and lose weight. He does not believe that my happiness and fulfillment contribute positively to us. But there are additional problems as well. During that ill-fated trip to Japan, he developed feelings for a girl who was traveling with him and his friends. This caused him a considerable crisis. He confessed this to me, and while I felt a tinge of sadness, I was not angry. We have an open relationship in which the possibility of a threesome exists, but many times I have indicated that I do not want us to have separate partners. I desire to be together, and I do not mind including additional people in our relationship, as long as we are all together. He did not wish to sever contact with her. It did not take long before he started pleading with me for a fully open relationship, even becoming angry when I refused. He only ceased this behavior when she expressed that it would never happen. To clarify, he did not want a threesome. He desired a separate partner despite having previously established specific relationship rules. Following an incident involving his father, amidst the turmoil in our relationship, he moved back home. I do not wish to detail the specifics of that incident, but he genuinely did not need to move back as his father is doing well and is healthy. After this, matters worsened. He became anxious and depressed, began taking heavy doses of antidepressants, and expressed a lack of interest in playing Dungeons and Dragons or socializing with his friends. He stated that spending time with me felt like a chore, and it was during this period that the reasons for ending our relationship began to surface. Beyond the financial issues, he pointed out differences in our political ideologies and raised concerns such as, what if in 20 years I want to have children? Or what if I develop another crush and start questioning everything again? These are largely hypotheticals, as if they cannot be addressed gradually and steadily instead of waiting for another crisis. The child issue is perhaps a genuine concern but seems to be exaggerated. He has made various hurtful and unloving remarks, mixing them with legitimate concerns to enhance their emotional impact. When asked about his feelings for me, after hours of evading a clear answer, he stated he felt the same as he did before the trip to Japan. His feelings for his crush have faded, and he has resolved that issue, but he still wants to end our relationship due to aforementioned concerns that crumble under scrutiny. He does not seem to be grieving our relationship, yet when we said our goodbyes before enforcing a month of no contact, for my mental well-being, as this situation is profoundly affecting me, he was in tears. I do not understand. He claims to feel the same as when he professed his love for me, yet he doubts his feelings. He wishes to terminate our relationship based on issues that are not truly problematic and/or easily solvable. He has mentioned having difficulties creating connections. Prior to me, he experienced a very toxic situationship. His feelings for the girl during the trip were rushed and peculiar. Our relationship, however, began slowly and safely, although we did experience some unconventional circumstances too. I see two possibilities. He has been dishonest with me for the past 4 years, using me as a means of escape from his home. He stayed out of habit, then began to behave irrationally, making an effort buying expensive gifts, all the while claiming he does not truly love me. He possesses an anxious avoidant attachment style and is experiencing cold feet at the prospect of discussing alternatives. My question, I suppose, is, am I perceiving this clearly? Is there anything, apart from years of therapy, that I can do to assist him in addressing his attachment style? He is exceedingly slow in self-analysis, and it takes him an agonizingly long time to arrive at any meaningful conclusions.